What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We done made it through another week. Hope all you're having a great day so far. Getting into this episode of Days of Our Lives, I honestly thoroughly enjoyed this episode of Days. I really did. Um, I have to agree with Ben. I'm glad that Ben was there for Allie to comfort her and to talk to her. Um, about calling Marlena and getting hypnosis. I think she should. I mean, I feel bad for her because it's going to be a struggle for her to relive that night as any rape victim. You know what I'm saying? When you've been through trauma, any tragedy, it's hard to go back and think about that. It's hard to look at images of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard to replay that in your mind and have that all wrapped up in your mental Rolodex. You know what I mean? Nobody wants that. Um, but this can be the turning point for her because if she, even though she was drunk that night, maybe she was lucid enough to where she could have seen a face and she just blocked it out. Because when you go through trauma, you block out the trauma. A lot of times you block out details of it to protect yourself from having to relive it. And that's what I think. I think her mind is just blocking that shit out to protect her sanity and everything else. But I think it's a good call for her to call Marlene, and I'm glad she did call her. Um, I think it could be a good thing, and it could finally be the smoking gun. It could finally be the evidence that the DA and the police need to finally convict Charlie and get justice for everybody involved. So I think this can be a really dope thing. Speaking of Charlie, his psychotic ass done. Let me tell you something. Mike Manning is doing an amazing job as Charlie. Like, he really is. Like, he's playing the perfect sociopath. Like, you can't tell me this boy is not sociopath. You cannot tell me he's not crazy. Like, he's not cray cray. He's definitely crazy. Um, and looking at him, you know how somebody look kind of wild in the eyes when you look at him. He definitely can turn that on. It's like a switch flips in him. Like, he can go from emotional and sympathetic to psycho in a minute. Like, he just turns on. It's like a bipolar person. Like, he turns on all those different emotions, and he can do it at the snap of a finger. It's crazy how he can do that. Like, he was just trying to beg and plead with Clear to forgive him, and don't believe what everybody's saying about him, and he was hoping that she wasn't being brainwashed by everybody. Like, he was really trying to turn it on the all the emotions and stuff, trying to get her on his side and keep her on his side. um because he admitted to what he did to Ava, but he's still denying the rape though. He has no choice but to admit the whole Ava stuff about Ava being his mother because they got DNA. They got proof. You're her child. You can't deny it. Um he really tried to appeal to Claire. The fact that, oh, Ava was a terrible mother to me, and she always favored Trip over me, and I felt second best to Trip like Claire felt second best to Sierra. He really tried to play that card, and I'm really hoping Claire's not falling for it, but by the looks of it, it looked like she is. It looked like she could definitely be falling for that trap, and I really hope she's not. Thank God Ben walked up when he did. um you know Ben basically was like, all right, Clear, let's go. Charlie was like, oh, we're talking. He was like, okay, conversation over. Clear, let's go. Thank you, Ben, for getting her away from his crazy ass. Um, I just hope that she can wise up and see that he's psycho. Like, that's not the type of man that you need to be seeing. Well, I can't even say a man. That's not the type of boy that you need to be dealing with. You don't need that kind of baggage. You know what I mean? Like, you already got enough baggage in your life. You don't need that because that boy is nuts. So anyway, moving on from that, Chad was sitting there telling Abigail about Gwen claiming to be Jack's daughter. Um, Abby, of course, doesn't believe it. She don't think it's true. I mean, you're not gonna know until you get a DNA test, but she don't believe her, and I don't blame Abigail for not believing her. Um, Chad pretty much sitting there trying to talk about, oh, I want to be here for you. I don't want you to go through this alone. I am so glad Abigail was like, I'm gonna handle this myself. I'm gonna do this myself. I can't, she was just like, I can't do this with you. And I'm glad she took that stance, because just because you now know that Gwen has been setting you up this whole time, and she's the one who's been drugging Abigail, and she set Chad up to ruin their marriage and stuff. Even though, yes, Gwen did all of that, Chad dumbass fell for all of it. He didn't believe his wife. He took the word of some trick that he's only known for 2 seconds over a woman he's known for years. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Abigail's not going to forget that. Just because you were set up, it does not vindicate you. You still slept with that girl. You still chose her word over your damn wife. That's not going away. So Chad needs to go sit down somewhere, like he really do. So anyway, moving on from that, I am glad that Chad, when he bumped into Gabby or whatever, he did apologize to Gabby, because Gabby swore up and down she didn't do it, even though I don't blame Abigail and Chad initially for not believing her. Especially with all the stunts and shenanigans that Gabby has pulled, I don't blame them for not initially believing her, but I am glad Chad was big enough to apologize. And, be like, I was wrong, you were right, I'm sorry. That's commendable to me, because some people wouldn't even do that. So, he apologized. Is it going to be enough for Gabby? I doubt it. It ain't going to be enough for Gabby, because Gabby going to make people sweat when she wants something. But anyway, Gwen was accusing Jack basically of being a deadbeat father, knocking up her mother and waltzing his ass off to go live his life with his wife and his children. Gwen basically told Jack the name of her mother, Tiffany, and Jack did not know who the hell she was talking about. She was like, who the hell is Tiffany? Jack really did not know. According to his facial expressions and what was coming out of his mouth, he claims that he really did not know who her mom was, because her mother apparently died. And what pissed me off about Gwen was she sitting there talking about some, oh, you went to go be with your wife and your little precious princess. I'm like, that's what this is about? Like, you're jealous of Abigail because she got the life that you claimed that you wanted, you never had? First of all, Abigail is just as much a victim in all of this. She's innocent in all of this. I ain't even going to say victim. I'm going to say innocent, because she had no idea about this. And we don't even know if Gwen is really his child or not. There's no DNA proof. And then she talking about how Jack was sending her mother money because they were about to get evicted, and she came near to help, to Salem to beg Jack for his help, and Jack, I guess, wouldn't help her or whatever, but he started sending her money until she died. Like, he started sending the family money until her mother died. But Jack was like, what the hell are you talking about? How? And that's what I don't understand. If Jack don't even know who her mama is, how he gonna send her money if he don't even know who she is? He's just gonna send a random woman with a child's money just because she claimed the child was his? That don't even make no damn sense. Like, Jack was adamant. Like, he was like, yeah, I never heard of her before. And Gwen does not believe him. I'm like, well, where's the proof that he knows her? Either he's a good liar, or she lying, or her mother misled her. Because either way, somebody ass is lying. Because she's sure that Jack is her father. He's sure that he's not. Or there's a possibility he is, but he's adamant he does not know who her mom is. So my thing is, somebody's lying. Somebody's putting on the performance of a lifetime with these lies. Only thing that's going to clear this up is a DNA test. That can quickly clear this whole matter up. Because my thing is, did Jack have that many one night stands back in the day that he can't remember who he slept with? Like, you slept with that many women that you can't remember vividly who you've been with? That you slept with so many people? Because that just don't make sense to me. Because what person don't remember who they slept with unless they were having just sex with a bunch of random ass people, not knowing their name, not knowing nothing, or you were just drunk? Somebody's lying. Somebody's definitely lying. And she's basically hell bent on going after the family. She basically told Jack she's gonna get her revenge on him. And Jack is not, him and Jennifer are not even worried about themselves. They're worried about Abigail. You know, what Gwen is going to do to Abigail because that's who she's jealous of for no reason. I just hate storylines like this because it's so cliche and it's like, why don't you get a DNA test? Like maybe her mom lied to her. You know, maybe she mistook Jack for somebody else. Who knows? I don't know, but I think a DNA will definitely clear this whole matter up in a heartbeat. Like she's accusing him of throwing her away and favoring his family over her. I'm like, Gwen, go get a DNA test just to be sure. And I think that's what Jack should do. He should make her get one, get a court order, do what you got to do. Be sure that that's your child first. You know, because I know Jennifer. You know, she believes Jack, but I know in her mind she just like, damn, we go through crisis after crisis. I know Jennifer like, I'm so sick of going through this shit. I know she is. Like he basically Jack just admitted to Abigail like I don't even know if that's my daughter or not. Like yeah, I need to call Maury. So anyway, moving on from that. Listen, Kate and Gabby, I love their showdowns because it's so hilarious. But them going back and forth with each other like that over Jake was so embarrassing. I'm like, how old are y'all? Especially Kate. I'm like, Kate, you are 70 some odd years old. Grow your ass up. You sit here going back and forth with a child, basically. This girl is old enough to be probably your damn grandchild. And you really going back and forth with this girl over some young buck that's young enough to be your son? Like it's like she's arguing with children. Like you're in the middle of some mess. Like she looked like their parent. I'm just saying, like, Kate, you are too old to be going back and forth with these kids. Like her and Gabby just trading insults and Gabby filling Jake in about Kate's past and Kate filling Jake in about Gabby's past. I'm like, how old are y'all? I was embarrassed watching them. I'm like, y'all really doing this in front of this boy? I mean, he's a man, but I'm saying boy because he's so much younger than her. I'm like, damn, like you really doing all of this? Like, really? Mm-mm. But you know, Jake pretty much held his ground with Gabby and told her to leave, and you know he was trying to reassure Kate that he's not thinking about Gabby, that he don't want Gabby, and Kate was like, "I know you don't," but Kate looked worried. That face that she had looked like a worried face to me because she's trying to play it cool. She's trying to be Joe Cool and make it seem like I'm good, I'm not pressed, I'm not angry, I'm not jealous. Kate is definitely worried because she know that Gabby's young, she's hot, you know she got that sex appeal that Kate thinks that she doesn't have anymore. Because Kate feels like she got to compete with this young girl, and she don't feel like deep down she don't feel like she can compete. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be competing. I'm just saying, why don't you date somebody that's your age bracket? I'm just saying, like that way you ain't got to compete. Or if you do have to compete, shit, you can compete with another geriatric ass person. I'm just saying. Don't get me wrong, Kate does look good for her age, but you too old to be doing this now. Going back and forth over some little man now, some young boy that's half your damn age, and you really fighting over him? Kate, if you don't grow your ass up, I'm just saying. Anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. This was good. Gwen needs to go get some psychiatric help because old girl is bugged out. But hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode, and I'll see y'all all later. Have a great day. Peace.